And thanks for those words from Senator Terrence Positive Nelson. And now we bring you The Bottom Line with Jamila Russell.
Good night and welcome to another edition of The Bottom Line. I am Jamila Russell. Bill number 28-0175, short titled, An Act Amending 27 VIC to grant prescriptive authority to certain psychologists to establish qualifications and requirements for use of such authority, and amending Title 19 to add prescribing psychologists to the list of medical professions permitted to prescribe a controlled substance, was debated yesterday before the Senate's Committee on Health. It has been reported that the bill is meant to help solve the problem we have with mental health in the territory, but it's not the cure-all to all that ails us. Good intentions aside, this bill, if passed, in my very humble opinion, will do more harm than good. Psychiatry and psychology, although related, are more like second cousins and are definitely not siblings and should not be treated the same way. Persons who choose to study psychiatry attend medical school and have a medical background. The suffix iatry means medical treatment, while psychologists don't attend medical school and have no medical degree. The suffix -ology means the science or theory of. That is the major and fundamental difference. Psychiatry is the medical treatment of the psyche, and psychology is the science of the psyche. Even with 300 hours of specialized training, psychologists, unless they have gone to medical school, will never be medical doctors and should not have the privilege of prescribing medication to patients. To allow psychologists to prescribe medication is extremely dangerous and will set a precedent here in the Virgin Islands that I don't believe we want to set. We should always be looking for the best of everything, especially doctors, to serve our people. Although we are plagued with a mental health care crisis and a corrective program is virtually non-existent, is no reason to allow this bill to pass. Clinical social workers and counselors also see mental health patients. Are we going to allow them to prescribe medication as well? The bottom line is that not everyone can be a doctor, and therefore we should not allow those who have not done the requisite classroom and practical work, laboratory training, and internship the opportunity to obtain a privilege they did not earn. Doctors are to be revered for the hard work, dedication, diligence, and commitment required to practice medicine and write prescriptions. If we allow psychologists to prescribe drugs, we will be opening the floodgates. Next will be social workers, counselors, chiropractors, and physical therapists being granted the privilege and authority to write prescriptions without having gone to medical school. This is not the direction we should be heading in. Although well-intentioned, you know what they say about that road. This has been The Bottom Line with Jamila Russell. Good night.
Thanks, Jamila Russell. And the expressions of The Bottom Line are not necessarily those of WSVI's management and paid sponsors. And now, a missing dog. A reward has been offered for anyone who can find Lily. Lily is a 6-month-old terrier, black spots on his left ear and a black eardrop under his left eye. Very notable and cute little dog. If he is found, call Brian at 277-6938. That's 277-6938. When we return, we'll have more news ahead on News Channel 8. Stay with us. Recently on News Channel 8, we gave you a story about the dropout rate here in the territory. Here's the second part of that, featuring Laverne Terry and Governor John DeYoung.
The governor's here today, and he's going to look at the economic impact, the social impact of dropouts in the territory and the implications that that has for us. So I hope that you all join me and welcome him to our Dropout Prevention Symposium.
Schools grades 9 through 12 was 13.8% for VI teenagers 16 to 19. In contrast, the national level was 7% in the same age group. What is even more alarming is that if you isolate the data to grades 9 through 10, you see a significant increase in the actual number of students dropping out, indicating that we're not only losing them young, but we never recapture them. Now, the purists will argue that until we gain a better handle on our data system for tracking students, we're not sure if they're really true dropouts, or they're transferring to the non-public school environment, or maybe simply just leaving the territory altogether. But irrespective of what side of the debate that you come on this particular issue, we have to start with a basic premise, and that is that any percentage is too high and is unacceptable when it comes to our children. We have a territorial school system. We have a territorial school system that consists of 33 public schools, 10 private schools, 25 church and parochial schools, and the knowledge that homeschooling may be more widespread than any of us truly believe. Our student base has gone from 19,400 in school year 2000 to 2001 down to 15,700 for school year 2008 to 2009. And based on a recent survey, only 63% of our community has a high school diploma. We're all in agreement, I believe, that even the anecdotal evidence suggests that high school graduates earn more than high school dropouts. And the opportunity to improve one's quality of life, one's future earnings potential, is directly proportional to the level of education a high school graduate receives. In fact, if you put our discussion in perspective, we are actually talking about the bare minimum to be able to compete in today's competitive environment. Dropping out of school not only has negative consequences for the individual in lost opportunities, but it has negative consequences to our community in revenues and increased public sector costs to be able to sustain them. The 1972 report by the Select Committee on Equal Educational Opportunity of the United States published a report that says the cost of nation's inadequate education. The study focuses analysis on males 25 to 34 years of age, and it found that the failure to graduate from high school had both negative consequences on the individual and on society. The same study was then updated in 2004, outlining the private benefits to the individual who graduated and the fiscal benefits to the taxpayers through higher tax revenues because of increased earning, lower government expenditures on health, crime, welfare.
When we come back from this break, we'll take a look at your sports highlights.